we're building things in our children now through homeschooling that are going to serve them later as adults and as they go into the real world.
It's so much about being intentional, and we have to have a GPS for our lives. If we have no idea where we're going, then we are not going to know how to get there. We're going to just stumble through life day to day, which I want to talk really quickly about long-term vision for your homeschooling. I know that's something that you're passionate about. Talk about that for just a minute.
Yeah. My best friend, who runs the local classical conversations co-op and does an excellent job in that. I don't attend that, but she does wonderful. I remember one time she told me, she said, when I started homeschooling, I was just kind of like, we'll decide year to year. She's like, which to an extent is still true. She said, and then I just got really convicted by what someone told her. And that was, if you don't have a vision for the future, then you don't have a vision at all. And I was like, kind of sat on that for a little bit. And I was like, do I agree with that? Do I not agree with that? You're just trying to weigh, where do I land in that?
Yeah.
And I was talking to my husband, Tim, and I was like, I hear what she's saying, and I actually really appreciate it. Because I feel like for the past few years, I've just been saying, okay, just this year, we'll see if it works. Okay, just next year, we'll see if it works. But if I never fully buy into what I'm doing,
right?
Am I fully into what I'm doing? Or am I always having a foot or an arm out that's a just in case foot or arm? And so from there, I really started thinking in my own life, what does that look like, Sarah? What does long-term vision homeschooling look like for you? And even more, what does long-term vision parenting look like for you? So instead of just, why are we doing this today or learning this today? How does that apply later when you're in a job, when you're in that? And obviously those conversations change based on the age, based on where they're at. And obviously sometimes those conversations don't happen at all because they're like, why do I need, dividing fractions and inverting? And I'm like, I don't know.
You probably don't.
Not. maybe not. I remember when I was in high school and I had probably a couple sassy moments when, because I was a pretty good student and very good girl. So out of that, you kind of want to be sassy sometimes just to see what it's like. And I remember having this moment where I asked my teacher, I was like, well, we won't need that. And he's like, what do you think? You're going to have a calculator in your pocket? And now I'm like, oh, yeah, actually.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. So I don't really want to argue with my kids on that. But I do want to say, why is this important? And how does that look down the road? And whether that's in homeschooling or whether that's in parenting, I want to remind them hey, I am raising you as a child, but also someday you're going to be on your own. And I want you to be an adult who feels like they can problem solve, who feels like they can think for themselves, who feels like they can form an opinion and back that up with the word of God. I want to be that parent that helps build that in you. So when you step out of my roof and out of my home, and dad and I aren't around you, you feel equipped as best you can to either rely on the Lord, which you always should, but also just to use your brain to make those good decisions. And so as I've thought more about that, established more in that, I feel like that's what long-term homeschooling is for me. It's not saying we're in this forever and never will change because nothing will stop us. It's more saying, what does this look like down the road? How can I lean into teaching you this? It's not just math. It's also diligence and commitment. It's not just a bad test. It's also about how do you respond in that and self-control and character development. And so we're building things in our children now through homeschooling that are going to serve them later as adults and as they go into the real world.
So good. It's so much about being intentional. And we've talked about this lots of times that, we have to have a GPS for our lives. I mean, for our kids, for us, where are we going? If we have no idea where we're going, then we are not going to know how to get there. We're going to just stumble through life day to day, which, sometimes I think as homeschool moms, we feel like that's what we're doing. But I think oftentimes we're not, because we actually, if you're homeschooling, you have some sort of a plan. You've actually thought through something. And so we do have, I think, more of a plan than what we give ourselves credit for. But we really do need to look, like you said, to those adult years and who do we want them to be? Who does God want them to be once they leave our home? And then how can we help them accomplish that and serve the Lord the best that they can? Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, Listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.